Hey guys, AngryBeast here bringing you some Demolition gameplay on the map Liberation. Use the MP7 here with the silencer and the focus proficiency. And I've said it before, but Liberation is one of my favorite maps. There's just something about the color scheme on this map. It's a very nice looking map, but it's still very difficult for the opponents to blend in, which is something that's very difficult to get in the map. I think this was a very well done map as far as color scheme and the way it plays, but especially in objective game modes. But in a team deathmatch setup, it does end up being a little bit campy in a defensive game mode or defensive map, simply because you got so many people who just like to sit in their corners with their sniper rifles. As far as I know, this is the first round of the game. I'm pretty sure I joined this right at the beginning of the game, and I really like the silencer on the MP7. There aren't too many other attachments I think are as useful as the silencer on the MP7, simply because it gives you the versatility at all ranges, but it does have its drawbacks. It's not like a God mode attachment that's just going to make your bullets instantly kill. You still have to have the 3 to 5 hit kill at all ranges, which you'll see come into play quite a bit in this gameplay. Because Liberation is a larger map, generally speaking, I wouldn't recommend a submachine gun because the ranges in the submachine guns on this game are balanced to the point where you're not going to get any kills outside of close range you shouldn't be getting with a submachine gun. But the MP7 does have the range advantage over all the other submachine guns because it can kill in 5 hits at range, which is the best of all the submachine guns. I believe it's tied with the PM9 and maybe the PP90. And the other thing it has is it has very low recoil, which helps it at longer ranges. So it's the best long-range submachine gun, but that doesn't say much. I mean, the submachine guns are already pretty poor at long range. When you compare it to an ACR, generally speaking, the MP7 is going to lose the ACR almost every time. But one thing I am using in this game is my P99 as my secondary. I've been trying to rank that thing up, and it's difficult. I have it at rank 9. I've just been kind of stalling, trying to get it to rank 10. Eventually, I hope to have all the pistols at rank 10, but some of them are very difficult to use. Desert Eagle. But overall, the P99 is a worthy secondary weapon. It's probably the best of all the handguns if you have a fast trigger finger, because it has a fire rate cap at, I believe, 20 shots per second, which is extremely fast. I don't think anybody can realistically hit that too often. But, you know, overall, it just comes down to personal preference. It's really good with the tack knife, and it's really good with the Kimbo. But other than that, it's pretty much useless with the silencer. It sounds cool with the silencer, but its silencer makes its range drop off so fast that it really isn't worth it. As far as tips for this map go, you definitely want to stay to the outside of the map. Running across the middle of the map is a death threat, more so than any other map that I can think of off the top of my head, simply because it's so open of a map, and you know there's going to be a sniper on this map. It's just how this map works. There is always some sniper sitting on the corner of the map trying to wait for you to run across the middle so he can get a headshot off you. Unfortunately, there isn't too much you can do about that, and it's just one of those things you have to live with. And, you know, it just ends up being a situation where you just have to be aware to the point where you don't get destroyed because of that one sniper who's just sitting in the corner of the map waiting for you to cross the map. That is a very valid strategy for playing this map if you're on defense, because you know people are going to come to you, and there isn't too much cover on this map that you can leverage when you're on offense, which is unfortunate. I mean, it leads to a very lopsided demolition match, but if you play it right, you can win the offense on demolition, which we do in the second round here. My kill streaks in this game are the Predator missile, the attack helicopter, and the assault drone. I've talked about all these before. Predator leads your helicopter about 20-50% of the time. The attack helicopter will get you to your assault drone about 20% of the time. I mean, it depends on the mat lobby, but there weren't too many people shooting on air support, so I was lucky here. And I want to point out this right here. That guy is right next to me as I'm defusing the bomb. And these are the moments that are just hilarious. There's a guy sitting right next to the bomb, and I just destroy him as I'm defusing the bomb. I don't know how he was that oblivious to me there. I mean, you make a huge beep when you're trying to plant the bomb or defuse it. But I am using the smoke and the C4. That's pretty much my go-to setup right now. I love the C4 for the fact that it has more damage than the frags, and it just gets more kills overall than a frag grenade. And the smoke is really useful in an objective game mode. I've talked about it many times before, but the diversion that it gives is more valuable than most people think. Most people will just sit there looking at you to run through the smoke, which is what most people do. I mean, it's true intent, but you can really leverage that to your advantage by going a different way than what they expect by going around the smoke. In this game, yeah, I'm not using the the default layout. I am using the tactical layout to knife. I just seem to get really lucky with the knife in this match. I don't know what it is. I pick up a couple of really absurd knives later on in the game, and it's just one of those things where sometimes the knife works in your favor in this game and other times it doesn't. It really reminds me of the World at War knife. In World at War, the knife was extremely inconsistent. You could be right up against somebody and you'd miss a knife, and you could be 5 feet away and you just magically hit them. But that's a good thing. I mean, it shouldn't be an instant one-hit kill all the time. There should be some drawback to using it. But on a prone target, you should always be able to hit them, and I feel like I can do that almost all the time. I never run into people just dodging my knife randomly when they're sitting still. But as I said, I am using the P99, and that's what I'll use it for. I'll use it for finishing up a person who's not looking at me, because in a head-on-head gunfight against any other weapon in the game, really, you're going to lose almost all of your battles. And right there, I was really confused. Like, how did I get the knife kill there? He knifed first, but I pressed the B button, and I was able to beat him out. Well, that ends up being really lucky for me as I pick up my assault drone, which is, of course, one of my favorite kill streaks in the game. And I sincerely hope that it returns in Black Ops 2. I mean, it's in the trailer, but it could be a single-player only thing. But in the end, though, it's one of the better kill streaks, and it can be used for quite a few things. The only real disadvantage to it, though, is that it doesn't build towards your kill streak. Unlike any other assault package streak, it does not build because it comes from a care package, which is unfortunate, but that's how the assault package works and how care packages work. If there's one thing I like to see in Black Ops 2 is to have that thing stacked, because as it is, there really isn't too much use for it to not be stacking a kill streak. I mean, it won't, because it could get you to your Osprey gunner 90% of the time, because that's how good it is. But unfortunately, if it doesn't stack, it's not going to help you in that situation. So I end up the round going 23-6. I think I get a couple of kills with my assault drone next round, but unfortunately, I think another guy in the enemy team is an EMP or something, and my assault drone gets taken out early in the match. And that's one of those things that's frustrating. I mean, the EMP, I sincerely hope it doesn't return in Black Ops 2, because the EMP is one of those things where it's just frustrating when it happens. You're doing really good, you got a kill streak you just earned, and you can't call it in for another 60 seconds. It's one of those things where it's rewarding bad players in such a way that should never happen. I have no problems with death streaks, really. I mean, yes, they can be frustrating when you run into one guy with last stand, or you run into the guy with dead man's hand. It can be frustrating, but I understand why they have it. What I don't understand is how a guy can go 18-30 and pick up a random EMP out of nowhere, and that's a little bit ridiculous. If the support package was to change in Black Ops 2, I'd have it be more of the support package is death streaks. So instead of the support package being kill streaks, it contains solely death streaks. So you could have either kill streaks or death streaks, and what it would contain is that 3 deaths, 4 deaths, 5 deaths. It'd have different types of death streaks in there that could help you and your team to become better. Even though you are dying, you're still helping your team out. But you're not getting random stuff like EMPs and nukes or stealth bombers, stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense, but if they were to do that correctly, I think it'd be a very good idea, because nobody really likes being rewarded for dying, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would go back to the assault if they're not getting rewarded for their kills, but instead being rewarded for their deaths, and only death streaks. It would, if you get a kill after you die, it doesn't help you at all. Support should be more of a supporting thing. It should support the bad players who don't know how to play the game as well. But my teammate makes an absolute rout of these guys at the end. For whatever reason, this team just like quit out after the first half, and we plant both of the bombs really fast. So gameplay is winding down. There's going to end up being like 35 seconds of me just trying to run around finding people. And that's what Demolition kind of fails at on this map. It's so big, it can be difficult to find anybody. In the end, though, this map is really good for Demolition if you're on defense. If you're on offense, well, not so much, because you're running into spawns like that. Like, the spawns on this map are bad. They never fix that. Like, no matter what you do, there's always going to be a team spawning in the creek, and that's frustrating, to say the least. I can run behind the creek and kill people constantly as they spawn. It's just how the map works, and it doesn't flow very well as far as the creek spawns are concerned when you're in the creek. But if you're not in the creek, then it ends up being a lot of fun just destroying people who are just constantly spawning there. But the gameplay's over. I think it ends up being something like 28 and excuse me, 26-8. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Angry Beast, and I'm signing out. I will catch you guys in my next video.